Have you ever wondered why?
When?
How much?
What if?
Well, you're in luck, because you're listening to the Hypotheticast.
3 best buds.
On a mission.
To ask all the questions?
And get all the answers.
I was born with both guns blazing, and I do think I'm amazing. You got the dignity to feel a little about yourself. I don't care what your preacher says. I got my own vicious ways. Only got one commandment and it goes, I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I was born under Jeffrey.
Pies.
Oh, I like this trend where Mike just says what the thing is going to be about. Hi, welcome to the Hypotheticast.
Yeah.
My name is David.
My name is Emily.
My name is Mike, and I'm the one who said pies.
You did it.
Yeah.
The pie sayer.
So last week we talked about eels because they did eat those at the first real Thanksgiving.
Probably.
Hard to say.
History
We
will
weren't
never
there.
know. Probably they didn't eat pies, at least in the form we're familiar with at the first Thanksgiving. But
We eat them.
I eat pies pretty much any time.
We do anytime.
Oh man, this
Night or
makes me
day.
want a pie already, and we're only 10
opening-
seconds in.
Okay, I thought of this while I was thinking about pies this morning.
Sure.
Which is not related to this theme. I was just thinking about pies. When is the best time for pies?
Oh.
Like what time of year?
Yeah, time of year. When I say the word pies, what season pops
doesn't
into your mind?
Fall.
Fall, yeah.
Like
autumn.
fall,
Yeah.
like a crisp crust on a pie,
It's
an
like-
apple pie. Apples are in season, so
Yeah.
you can make apple pies
It's
with
the
them.
smell of like cinnamon and
Yeah.
baking and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd say fall.
It's the season when like a warm dessert first like starts to sound really good.
Because I do think like 4th of July, you have the apple pie, but
true.
like that is pretty much just that one pie that you have. Then.
Although like a summer barbecue vibe.
I
Pies
never
are
have
very-
apple pie
Yeah, strawberry
on
rhubarb
4th
pie
of
or something
July.
like
You
that,
don't?
Or in the summer.
Your duty as an American.
Yikes.
You've not been doing that.
Hand over
No.
your gun and badge.
You can't vote then.
Yeah.
You cannot vote.
Wow.
I actually teach my ESL students that to be a citizen of the United States, you have to eat apple pie.
That's cool.
And they're like, that's
On the
great.
4th of
That's all I
July.
have to do. I'm like, that's all you have to
That's
do,
it.
kids.
There's no citizenship
That's the
test
test.
anymore.
It's a
Yeah.
drug
just,
test
do
that
you like
tests for
it?
apple pie in your urine.
yeah. Have you had apple pie?
The end of this
Hey,
cup.
can I borrow some of your pea? Because I have not had apple pie
haven't eaten
lately.
apple pie, and everyone's
I
out.
need to get some. Give me some of your pea.
I love the idea of a drug test being that you have to have eaten something, not that you're testing for substance presence.
Yeah, at
Oh, that's
least
good. That's very good.
0.15% apple pie or more. Or more. Ideally,
But if you
it's
go a
more
little
like
higher than that, you
50%
can't
apple
really-
pie.
Your blood is 50% that gross sugary substance.
That like syrupy.
Oh, it's just
God.
straight up corn syrup, baby.
No, I mean I love pie. I just apple pie in the summer just never was a thing
Yeah,
for
That's
me.
fine. I guess that's
So-
fine.
Why do you
All
ask,
time.
Mike?
Well, we're going to talk more about pies.
Oh,
Do you have pies at Thanksgiving or Christmas or both?
Both.
Both? Yeah, we do both too.
I think so. I think if we're talking about my family Thanksgiving and my family Christmas, yes, both. If you're talking about me personally, I don't.
Oh, just like
I
in
don't
your
think
daily
I have
life.
pie at Christmas. I like candy and cookies at Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
But like pie is usually present at a Christmas event.
There's like one
So-
pie sitting in
yeah,
the
there's
corner of
always
the room.
a pie, but like I'm a cookie boy
Yeah,
at
you
Christmas time. Mike knows.
I actually
Yeah, he's just, I'm a cookie boy.
I
just
say it when
runs
I
around
enter every
throwing
room.
cookies in his mouth.
I'm a cookie
He's
boy.
Cookie
I usually
Monster.
have like more than one dessert though.
Ooh,
At Christmas.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, but more than one cookie. Like
Yeah.
cookie, there's many cookies.
Right, but I have like there's multiple celebrations.
I see what you mean.
You know what
and
I
there
mean.
are cookies at every one of those that are all different. You can eat all of them.
What kinds of pie do you eat at Christmas?
Usually pumpkin.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe someone makes
Pumpkin.
an apple.
To me, pumpkin is like a Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah.
And I avoid it because I do not like pumpkin pie.
Oh,
that's too
no.
bad.
No offense. No
Some
offense.
pumpkin pies
More
are
for you.
not good. So I feel lucky because Tanner's favorite dessert is pie, apple pie specifically, but he also likes pecan pie. So usually his birthday's in September, the beginning of September. So usually we have pie for his birthday. And then it's just like the kickoff of pie season.
Yeah, Halloween pie, Thanksgiving pie, Christmas pie,
Yeah.
New Year's pie.
New
like
Year's
it
pie,
all.
Valentine's pie.
Yeah.
There should be a Valentine's pie.
There can be.
There probably is.
No one is making
I'm sure
the rules.
there is.
Easter
Yeah.
pie.
Yeah.
St.
Little
Patrick's
Jesus
Day
coming
pie.
out of the pie.
If you find a baby Jesus in the pie, that means he gets to come back again for one more year.
It's like king cake.
He gets to come back.
It's like Groundhog Day, but Jesus.
Jesus is like, oh, please. I hope they
8 more
find
weeks
me.
of being in hell, I guess. Jesus can't save us this year because he's not in the pie.
Because he comes back every year, as the prophecy foretold.
That's why Easter's
That's what
every
Easter's
year.
for. Yeah, we got to bring him back out of that hell.
Yeah,
You guys are
you to find him in the pie.
teaching me a lot about the church.
Yeah. So really, what I'm really hearing is that pie is a versatile food.
Sure
It
is.
Yeah.
Well, all this talk of pie is leading into a little segment that I have prepared, probably most similar to the meat, but the meat is a segment that we do where we dive into a topic a little more deeply than just asking a bunch of random would you rather questions or whatever. So here's the premise that I came up with for you guys. Let's say you're walking down the street. Do you guys want to say that with me? You're walking
Walking down the street.
You're walking
Emily's in.
down the street.
Yeah, you guys said it.
But I got it first, so I win.
Yeah, you
Emily
get more
wins this
teacher's points.
pie. And there's a pie shop that sells magic pies. You know this because the sign says, we sell magic pies.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
So you go in and there's a magic pie. Here's what the magic pie is. It has 6 slices.
Big slices. I like a good.
Yeah, it's 6 slices just because of the categories I had to make up. So here's what the magic
fair
pie
enough.
does, as explained to you by the kindly magic pie shop owner who appears to you in the form of whatever pie you love best in this world.
Just like a big version of that
Sure,
pie
yeah,
with a
yeah,
face.
that has arms and legs.
I was just picturing like Cake Boss, but
Not
with cake
at all
crossed off. And it
disconcerting.
says Pie Boss. So
Yeah, no,
that's the pie I
good
love
too.
most.
So
Him.
this 6-piece magic pie, each piece of the pie is correlating with the 6 major attributes in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, good. Yes.
I had to look these up because I actually haven't played D&D for a long time. David, do you know them offhand? I'm trying to look them up on my computer and it's not working.
Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Strength, yes. What's constitution is endurance and stamina.
Yeah,
It's not not memorizing the Constitution
like-
of the United States.
Like the
One is
constitution of like
presidents.
a lady in a Victorian novel.
Yeah.
She has like a
How
weak
fast will you-
constitution.
Yeah.
faint from poison or get drunk.
extreme emotion or
extreme emotion.
or just have
yeah.
like fevered palms or something
Right.
and need to
How much
lie
will
down.
You succumb to the humors.
So this magic pie has these 6 pieces. Correlating to those statistics, you find out that if you eat some of the pie, you will gain that attribute of that thing.
Oh.
However, when you eat it, someone else on Earth, somewhere, loses an equivalent amount of that attribute. You do not know them. Maybe you know them. It's random.
Okay.
They'll lose it. And so my question for you guys is, which of those, if any, would you bite, and how much of a nibble would you take of the pie? If you
Okay.
could
Can you
have
list
more
the categories one more time?
strength, I should write it down. Strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
I would like more of all of those.
Right?
So would you eat it given that it's going to take away from someone else?
Just anyone.
any
Is it
random
just
person.
any
Could be a
random
bad person, could be a
Wow.
good person.
Could be someone who has too much of one of those things.
Yeah, it could be.
I would hope, but the universe is horrible and imbalanced, and not everybody has the same amount of stats to distribute through their character sheets.
They don't.
But if I look at it like, oh, no, there's no way to make this not a jerk move, I think is the problem.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Just take a little bit. It won't affect
just a
someone.
little.
Yeah.
They probably won't even notice. They'll just be like, I guess I'm getting old.
That's fair. But also, if I think about it in terms of like, I am probably, well, that might not be true. I was going to say I'm probably less physically strong than average.
Sure. I see what you mean. So
So,
you're
like if you
bringing
pick
yourself
the
up to
average, I'm like definitely lower than average. I don't know.
I see.
I'm assuming.
So there's a better chance that you'll affect someone who has greater than average
Exactly.
strength.
And then I'm just
Okay.
bringing us on par, giving myself a better chance if we
Hopefully.
meet in an alley one day.
At least that's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
You might be stealing strength from already the weakest person on earth. It's unlikely, but possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might literally die.
Right. You could. I mean, strength is the most dangerous one, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you steal even a little strength from somebody that's barely hanging on,
Oh God!
They could die. Right? That's horrifying. I say
That
we
sucks
have to stay
because,
away
like,
from strength.
The two
We
that I'm the
can't.
most
We can't.
drawn towards are dexterity and strength because those are the things that I feel like I'm like more lacking in.
Dex would be safer. I think.
Yeah.
If someone's like a little more clumsy,
Yeah, I don't
like
think they'll probably not
they
die.
could,
They
but
could.
that's
That's out of
know,
your control.
Yeah.
Kind of.
This
I
is
think
quite the
that's
philosophical.
the safe one. I think dexterity is pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's probably safer. I mean, I don't know if anybody would like die from being less charismatic.
No, probably not. Unless
But-
their charisma was 0 and like
Yeah.
everyone just hated them.
And
Yeah.
killed them.
Is that what happens in D&D if you have that low of charisma?
Oh God.
So the thing about wisdom and charisma, what was the other one?
And intelligence. Those are the three like
Intelligence.
brain
Yeah.
ones.
Sure. So those three, if someone in the world out there is already really low, I doubt that. This is so. I feel like a terrible person.
I know where you're going. I know where you're
like
going. with
specifically
it.
for charisma.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
someone has like 2% charisma and I take that 2%, like they already probably don't have any friends.
They have that one friend. They have that one friend
they
who's like,
lose that friend.
sure, like we can hang out. What do you think you
Sure,
would do?
but only because you have 2%
what do you think-
charisma.
what
If
do
you
you
went
think
down to
you-
1, we're through.
What do you think you gaining 2% charisma
know,
would
that's
look
the
like?
thing.
No,
That's
also-
I really
no.
want to
I don't
know.
know.
That's a
I feel
good
like
question.
so. I actually feel like I am not super charismatic. I think
Okay.
I'm like nice and fun and cool. It feels weird to
That's
say.
the
I'm
seventh.
cool.
That's the seventh attribute. That's a little bonus pie with coolness.
I feel like I'm one of those people, and I don't love this about myself, but it just is. I'm one of those people where like when I first meet people, they're not like, oh, I immediately want to be friends with her.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just like, she's a person and like she doesn't seem awful, but like whatever. You know how there are people where like immediately people are like,
Yeah.
whoa, I want to know them. I'm not one of those people.
Those are the people with high charisma stats.
Yes, but then-
they just are like magnetic.
I feel okay about that because the other thing I know is that a lot of times the people that have that just like immediate magnetism, long term, people end up getting sort of disillusioned by them because they don't sort of hold up in other categories. But I'm someone that I think once people get to know me, they are like, oh, she will solidly be these other good things and I can depend on her to be
Right.
those things. And I do think I'm like fun. I just like
And cool.
and cool. You have to say it in that way though.
Sorry. Cool.
Cool. So if I had a little more charisma, I feel like that would improve my first impressions, but I don't know if 2% would be detectable. So I don't know if
It
it'd be
might
worth
just
it.
push you over the edge. Like, because I'm the same way. I've often wished that like I had that X factor that just made people more excited to meet me, because I often feel at parties that I'm like, I could probably be friends with everybody here, but
If you had the time.
if we sat down with each other and talked,
Right.
but in this environment, I'm going to be friends with probably none of them.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I'm friends with a lot of people is because we are similar and we leave the party and sit on a couch
Yes.
somewhere, and then I talk
Same.
to them for a while and become friends. Like that's why I know Mark Sweeney. Shout out to Mark Sweeney.
Hey.
So charisma would be one that I'd be very tempted
Mm-hmm.
by, especially because it doesn't ruin someone's life to steal like even like 10%.
Yeah.
If I got 10% more charismatic, doesn't wildly change my existence. It's not all of a sudden like I'm some flashy boy that nobody can look away from. But I just know what to say a little bit more often. I say it in a slightly funnier way or in a more compassionate way or whatever charisma means. And people just kind of like it more, I guess. And that sounds really beneficial.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that I take it, like Emily was saying, there's a good chance that I take it from someone that's already like more on the charisma scale.
I don't know. I feel like
maybe
you're
I'm in
above
the middle.
average.
You think I'm above average?
I think people want to know you.
Oh, yeah.
I see you
you're just
walking
like-
down
People wanna
the
know
People
me.
are turning heads when you're walking down the street.
You are a very warm person. Like I feel like
That's true.
if anybody meets you, I don't think you're not one of those people that's like life at the party. Everybody's like, gotta get that guy's number. But I do think everybody's like, you seem like a safe, kind,
Yes.
warm, fun person. So I
Right.
think you're above average.
Okay. Not like off the charts, but like maybe
Right.
like 55
I feel like
or 60
we're
or something.
probably
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
I think
was-
I am
a lot of
also
the things you
above
said about
average,
yourself,
but
yeah.
not like not much above average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a what did you say, 10% increase for you?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would take like your giant beard and just make it like a glitter beard. Like people would be like,
It would
look at that
appear
guy.
to be a glitter
yeah,
beard.
Yeah, like not
It's a
necessarily
glamour.
actual glitter
It's
in your
not
beard, but
actually
like
that.
But it would be as though.
be
Yeah.
as though people would be like, oh, like
Just
now,
like
now
that
they're like,
slight more
oh.
intrigue.
And then
Yeah.
they'd be like,
Oh.
Yeah.
What would my equivalent attribute be?
A glitter beard.
Glitter beard. I don't know. David just has a very prominent beard, so it's a lot
true.
easier to think.
That's fair.
Because I think he literally had, when we all worked together at the bookstore, like there were multiple people.
Oh, people wanted to know about
that
it all
wanted to
the
be
time.
like, I remember literally one lady came in once and was like, "Oh, I'm going to talk to you later," like
She
to
said
David
that.
in
Yeah.
a very like, aggressive
Which was rude.
way.
I mean, that person was having a
yeah,
time.
it was weird, but
it was,
still, like, I mean, I think that's, and your beard is not the sole source of your charisma.
No, but it helps.
It's notable. Yeah.
In D&D, if we're using these attributes, charisma does often refer to physical attractiveness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, I
think
mean,
that's fair.
obviously that's not how it works in real life when we say someone has charisma, but like it is a part of why people are attracted to people is
Drawn to
like
other people, yeah.
their body, like for
Yeah.
better or for worse, what
And-
they look like is part of it.
Yeah.
But I think especially if you have like a thing.
It's true. It's a good point. Emily, I think for you, if you got a little bit more charismatic, I think we have to do some workshopping of the word cool. But I think the kind of cool that you are would change from cool. Or how did you do it? Do it for me again.
Cool.
Cool. To
Cool.
like cool.
Cool.
Like it would be like just a little bit lower. Not like
Oh.
cool, like a kid thing.
Sure.
But like cool.
I feel like that means I would be more able to pull off leather.
Yeah. And sunglasses.
Like pull off like in a way where like people wouldn't question it. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes when I wear like edgier things, people are like, "Oh, fun! Look at you!"
Like,
But
Look at this
like
baby.
when I used to wear,
Exactly.
it's like when I used to wear Hawaiian shirts all the time, and people would always comment on it, and it's like, oh, it's probably because they like them. And now I'm like, I think they just noticed them. Like I don't know that
Well,
people
yeah.
liked them. I mean, it wasn't that they were bad, like whatever. But I wore maybe too many,
But
all the
people are
time.
like, that's something.
That's
I'm going to say something
no
about that.
shame in wearing the occasional, or if you want to wear a Hawaiian shirt all the time, that's fine too.
Yeah, who
I
cares?
feel like I'm drawn to like cool, like big chunky motorcycle boots. Like I'm like, oh, I like the look of that. Like I wish that was my style. And sometimes I go for things like that. But I feel like most people just see me as the type of person that wears like collared shirts under sweaters, which usually is mostly what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So like when I wear edgier stuff, because I'm like, I don't know, a short white girl, people are like, oh, look at you go.
Fun.
So fun.
Stepping out.
Right.
Look at you is often
Oh, it's so
positive but condescending.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
oh, look what you tried. Like, that's kind of
Exactly.
what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
The phrase is strange. Like,
Yeah.
oh, look at you. Like, who are you telling to look at who?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to look
Look
at
at
me.
you.
That's what it is, though. It's
It's like, oh.
It's a command to be
Look at
introspective.
yourself.
I'm looking at you.
yeah.
I'm looking at you
It's
right now,
just
and
a
I'm
statement
enjoying
of fact.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
saying that you like it. It's just like, oh, there's something.
Oh, look at you.
It's like someone saying something was
is
an
weird.
experience.
So I think if I was cool, back to the where I started with all this, if I was like cool, it would be not even like notable that I was wearing those things. It would just be like
Yes.
a part of who I was,
Yep.
as opposed to someone who's maybe putting on a costume a little bit.
Exactly. I'm interested in which of these attributes I think would improve our lives the most. Like charisma is great. Charisma helps, obviously. Strength is kind of like we almost can improve that. Like if we
Yeah.
want, like we can work out. Like, so I don't feel like I need the pie for strength.
Also, in
Okay.
in our modern lives, it's probably less useful than other things.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to lift stuff on a daily basis that I can't lift or run farther or jump higher. I don't really need those talents.
Okay.
Dexterity would be cool. I play a lot of music. That would be helpful in that regard. I think I would tend towards dexterity. Constitution would keep me alive in some nice ways. But again, I would be afraid of the same thing that we do for strength, which is if you take like 5% strength and it takes it from the wrong person, maybe they die. And constitution would be the same way. Like maybe that's when they get that sickness and it's all downhill for them and it was your fault. And I'd be really worried about that. So I think I would stay away from strength and constitution. Those are the no pies. No, thank you.
Okay.
I think intelligence could be interesting too. And I think this is something that like Emily was maybe touching on a little, going from the angle of, yes, it's always going to be a selfish thing to say, I want more of this for me and less of this for you. The wisdom and intelligence pies are something that everybody is going to say, well, I trust myself to do better things with wisdom and intelligence than a lot of other people in the world. So hopefully it will steal it from the people that I disagree with or that are making the world a worse place. It's like the people who say, yes, I know we don't need more kids in the world, but I think we can make a pretty good one. Like against that argument. It's like, yeah, well, you could. Like, so maybe there's something to eating that pie and saying, I know that I am considerate of those things and I trust myself, but so would everyone. It's a risky business eating
Are you
pie.
better than other people, David?
I don't know. I think so.
I think so too.
I know I've met people that I'm better than.
Name
That's like
them.
the most confident thing I've
Name
ever
them.
said on this podcast is because I'm not a person that's very full of my own worth, but that is one way that I'm like, yeah, I think I could, but I don't know. Maybe I would just get a little smarter and then I just like feel better about myself and I wouldn't do anything.
If we're looking at purely happiness, if we're looking at like fulfillment and contentedness, I think would be best served by wisdom. I think wisdom would be the most likely to make us happier.
I do think I actually do think it's
right.
very true that intelligence
Not
would
necessarily.
make you like bummed out all the time,
right.
which is like, it's good to know stuff, but wisdom is about like knowing like what that really
what
means.
to do with the knowledge. Yeah,
Because
totally.
you can constantly be pointing out, you can constantly know that there's bad things, but I think wisdom helps you like deal with things in a very real, like this
You
is
can know
the right
all
way.
of the eel facts in the world, but if you don't know what to do with them,
Yeah, exactly.
then you're just squirming around on the ocean floor.
What if I threw in, this is actually an attribute I wanted to put in, and then I just picked the 6 major ones.
Okay, I'm ready.
If this attribute was in there, how would you choose to do with it?
I'm so excited.
The attribute of luck. What if you could be
like
more
Fallout.
lucky? Yeah.
oh damn, that would be
that's
nice.
fun.
Yeah, because honestly, that's when I'm playing a game like that where I get to choose. I just love to beef up my luck above everything
Just see
else.
what happens.
Because honestly, like if you have really good luck, like who needs the other
Things
stuff?
tend to work out for you.
That's true.
Also, the thing about luck is it has nothing to do with like as a
No.
person, you can grow in all those other 6 attributes, but luck is like a wild card. It's like
Yeah.
you
That's
have no
true.
control over it.
No, you
But
don't.
if you have better luck,
Although there are a lot of, I don't know, this is a little self-helpy, but there's a lot of like you make your own luck or like you.
yeah.
So like,
Sure.
I guess it kind of depends on like if we're talking small scale or large scale, which maybe luck is just everything.
It's all
So
scale.
like sometimes,
Oh.
you know, you could just have bad luck and get terminal cancer, or you could have bad luck and like, I don't know, have your car broken into or something. But
It just puts you lower on the list. If we think of like events as a gumball machine, then like you are lower on the list for those bad things to come out.
sure.
And
sure.
higher on the list for the good
For the good things, yeah. I think
But- There's
whether,
2 luck
whether they're
gumball
extreme or not.
machines.
Yeah.
But if you're, no, I mean that would just definitely be. But I would feel bad about taking that from someone else
Oh yeah.
because then you could be the one. I mean,
You could be
that's
the
why wisdom is still the best because even if you have like the kind of luck you have now, you know how to handle it better. But if you just I would feel the worst about that because that you could be randomly giving someone else a horrible terminal disease
Yeah.
by
You
taking
give
some of
someone
their
really
luck.
bad luck.
Like
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
you just take like 10% of their luck, like
Yeah.
that could
be it.
That's
puts them over the threshold.
Bye.
Oh, that's scary. And I think the only one that isn't scary, all right, 2 actually, intelligence and dexterity. Those are the ones that I feel like wouldn't ruin a person's life. I think even
That's true.
wisdom could, because you could steal it from somebody that's really important and makes bad decisions already.
Sure.
There's
and
a
if
lot-
you take
there's a lot out
intelligence
there.
from someone, maybe you're probably just making them happier, honestly.
That's the one that doesn't feel like it really would be noticed by either party, which is kind of weird. But like, I don't think I would notice if I got smarter. I think I would notice if I got wiser or more charismatic or stronger or faster. But I don't think I would notice if I got smarter. I would assume I was just this way the whole time.
I haven't really said for myself at all.
Yeah, I want to know.
I would,
I would just eat the whole pie.
Damn.
100%.
Then I wouldn't even care.
So there would be like 6 people out there who would completely lose one of those attributes.
You would be so important like, to the world. Like you would be a superhero.
that would be
Yeah.
great. Maybe we do just need someone to eat the whole pie.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. That reminds me of
Eat the whole pie.
there's a Ursula K. Le Guin story called "The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas."
Yep.
And maybe you've read it more recently
I've
than
read
I
it
have.
many
But it's
times.
like is it a town or a
It's
city?
a small town named Omelas. Yeah.
Yeah, and like everyone's doing super well, And then I forget the whole premise because it was a long time ago that I read it. But then like the protagonist or somebody discovers that like they keep, what is it, a kid
there's
in a
a
shed?
child like underground in a bad cave where they're very sad.
And they're not tortured.
No.
They're just
But their
they're
life
being
sucks.
sad.
Yeah. And that's the cost.
Yeah.
For everybody
For
else.
everybody
to
else
be
to be
happy.
happy.
For everyone else to be
I
happy.
need to read some Ursula
There's
K. Le
just
Guin.
a
Dude, that
kid
sounds
in a
interesting.
cave that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yep.
And they're alive and they live, but they're just sad while everyone else is happy.
Yep. That's the price you pay.
And the title comes from the fact that there are people that just in the night, they just quietly walk away because they're like, hey, this isn't okay with me.
Yeah,
Which
right.
I would not actually be okay with taking away those people's attributes, but that would be, I just like to see it. I just want to see
You
it.
just want to see it. You would be a superhero for sure.
So what if instead of it taking away from someone else, if you ate a piece of one of those 6 pieces, it gave you more of that, but you personally lost a little bit in all of the other attributes? What do you think you would want a little more of? Would your answer, well, maybe Emily, you would say the same thing.
Wisdom?
Or charisma? You said you wanted charisma.
I did, but then I also said I wanted wisdom because it would make you
changed.
happier.
That's
You
the
could,
one that,
you could do
it's so
both. You don't
nice.
have to just have one.
I would do wisdom for sure.
But then,
that's
then
gonna-
all your other ones are
Yeah,
going
that's
down
okay
a
though
little
because
bit more.
I know what to do with my bad attributes.
bad.
I know what to do with my bad.
Yeah, I mean, and I no one is relying on me for my physical strength or dexterity right now.
Oh, same. Oh, I guess
That's
kind
fair.
of.
Mainly,
gotta hold your
she's
baby.
just mainly relying
gotta
on
hold.
the physical attributes of my boobs.
Yeah.
So
And that's
Sure.
not what a stat in this game.
yeah,
No.
Probably in some game. God, what a bad world video gaming is. It's also great.
I mean, if
should
it was
say.
like lactation, that'd be a cool video game.
Ooh, yeah.
Wait, never. I don't even know where to start with that. I don't know.
Next time on the Hypotheticast, we gamify
Lactation.
breastfeeding.
You do wisdom too.
Wisdom too.
I do
yeah.
wisdom.
Wisdom seems like the most valuable one for a person that doesn't need to be an adventurer.
Yes.
And
It
that's
makes
me.
sense. Makes sense. Although, again, I'm still just tempted to just eat all
Eat
of
the whole
one,
pie and see what
one
happens.
piece. Yeah, the whole pie in that case, I had not thought that part out. I think you just turn inside out or
Yeah,
something.
you get banished to the shadowed
Yeah.
realm, I think.
Oh, I didn't say, but this pie is sour cream and raisin. Does that change your answer?
Oh, that makes me pumped about it. I love that shit.
Oh, David loves, Emily hates. Mike, never tried it.
Oh, dang, dude, let's get it.
Okay.
Now I want pie.
Yeah, let's get pie.
Bye.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us on this journey. It was beautiful.
It certainly was a trip to a pie shop.
This segment is called No Questions Asked, where I ask a final question and you must respond with no further follow-up questions. Here's the question. Would you rather eat a pie made of eels or a pie made of peels?
Peels.
Peels.
Eels.
Hey, thanks for listening,
Banana peels are
everybody.
poisonous.
I'm marching,
Theme music by Jaden James and the Hunger. Logo by Christian Hagen. Edited by David Gucci. If you want more of our hypothetical content, join our Facebook group or like our posts on Twitter or Instagram or give us some stars and a review on iTunes or wherever the heck you get your podcasts.
I think I learned about lemon meringue pie from the Garfield cartoon that I watched in my youth. There was a
Garfield and Friends, that
It
one?
was Garfield and Friends, and paired with Barnyard
Yep.
USA.
Yep.
Oh, I
What
remember
was the
that.
name of that one?
The weird guy who had like the duck who had like the regular head and then he had an inner tube on with a mini version of his own head that
Very
was like
confusing.
sentient.
I was
and
very
moved
confused by
around.
that show.
I remember there being a segment of that cartoon where the pig was a secret agent who had a like 24 Magnum lemon meringue pie.
Yes, I remember
And
that
I
too.
was like,
now that you've said it.
what is that? And that's when I found that was the day when I learned what meringue was.